Simard with her new book, Stitches. Can you tell us about yourself and how the book came to be?
Okay, sure. I'm 24 years old. I'm from New Hampshire, and the book is actually the result of about 7 years of planning for a broader series that I'm hoping people will really enjoy.
How many books in the series?
At least 3. I'm hoping that after the initial 3-book story arc, I can expand upon the characters and the plot to make an even longer series. Stitches follows several characters, but the main protagonist is Jim Wolfe. He's an ex-Army Ranger turned private investigator, and he and his partner Scarlett catch a what seems like a simple enough case, but it quickly spirals out of control and twines with other issues that they're already facing. And there's a mob boss, a serial killer, some police detectives. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I don't want to give too much detail because I risk giving away some of the plot. But you really have to read it to really experience it, I think.
Sounds like a lot. What was the inspiration?
The inspiration. Well, I have always liked mysteries and suspense and thrillers and those type of books, and I wanted a book where the ending was very hard to guess. The whodunit, if you will, was hard to guess. So I came up with this, and everyone that's read it has told me that they did not see the ending coming.
Where did you get your ideas for your characters?
My characters, I like to draw inspiration from different places. I mean, from the world around me, but also they kind of just speak to me, if that makes sense. Like, I hear them in my head, and eventually they come out on paper. Sometimes I have to wrestle with them a bit to get them to do that. But, yeah, ultimately, it's all up here.
And how long have you been writing?
My whole life. Basically, since I learned to read, I started to write, because when a story that I read didn't end the way that I thought it should, I started writing a new story. Sometimes something based off of what I had already read, sometimes something completely new.
Tell me about your writing process.
Painful? My writing process is painful. But no, I'm kidding. Essentially, what I start with is a blank notebook, and I write down scene progressions. I don't like outlines. I never have. But I write down essentially base parts of what needs to happen in order to move the story forward. All the details, the finer points, all that stuff, that comes later. That comes during the writing. But everybody always wants to know, like, how do you come up with these ideas? How do you fit them into a story? And the answer is, you just write. You write until it feels right, you write until it sounds good, and hopefully, after a lot of editing, other people like it.
How often do you go through what you've written and rewrite?
I try really, really hard not to rewrite until I'm done with something, because I find if you go back and rewrite as you're writing, you tend to doubt yourself and your ideas, whereas if you wait until you're finished, there isn't as much of that. You're more looking for errors in grammar and spelling and maybe plot details, but you're not being self-critical, I think.
How long did you work on the book?
On the book from beginning to end, probably 3 years. Yeah. The planning for the 3 books took 7 years. This book itself, 3 years.
Did you start with an outline?
No, I wouldn't call it a traditional outline. Like I mentioned, I've never liked outlines, so I tend to just get the big ideas down on paper and then fill in around them.
But you know what the next books will be about.
Yes.
And how they'll work and how the arc works,
Mhm.
story arc works.
Yes.
Are you a college student, and how do you work in the writing with studying and everything else that goes on in college?
I am a college student. I'm studying for my bachelor's degree at Southern New Hampshire University. And basically, I work it in wherever I have free time. I mean, my degree concentration is in English and creative writing, so it kind of all fits together. But this took longer than I would have liked, and some of that had to do with school, some of it had to do with personal issues. It can be difficult, but I manage it.
Well, this book is self-published. Can you tell me what that was like?
That was a long and I wouldn't say difficult process. It had some unexpected turns to it. I started the self-publishing process probably back in July, I think. I did a crowdfunding campaign so that I could get enough money to be able to pay for the cover design and cover the cost of ISBN numbers and barcodes and that sort of thing. But other than the cover art, I did literally everything myself. So it was very labor intensive. I think that's how I would put it. But it's a labor of love.
Did you go through a particular website or other service for finding a printer and
No,
things done?
this is actually all done on Amazon. This copy I have in my hands is printed by Amazon, print on demand, and there are services out there that you can use to get it on multiple platforms if that's what you'd like to do. But I chose to go with Amazon because I felt that their royalty system was the most beneficial to me, and I wouldn't have to pay a percentage out to a service.
Did you research this all yourself, or did you have advice from other people who have done this?
I did all the research myself.
Question. Do you have any tips for young writers or beginning writers?
My biggest tip is to keep writing. It sounds really cliche, but even if you get discouraged, even if you have people discouraging you, even if you think that there are 5, 10, 20 other people out there that are more talented than you, you're the only one that has your voice. You're the only one that's going to tell the story that's in your head. You need to keep writing.
Where can people buy your book?
Well, this paperback version is on sale at Amazon for $14.99, and there is a Kindle version that is normally priced at $2.99, but it's currently on sale for $1.99 for the holiday season. And if you'd like to buy a physical copy in a small bookstore and support a small business, it's for sale at Print Books in Portland, Maine, at Water Street Books in Exeter, at River Run Books in Portsmouth. The Book Rack in Newburyport has some signed copies, the last time I checked. And there's also copies available at the Andover Bookstore in Andover, Massachusetts, Cabot Street Books in Beverly, and Spirit of 76 in Marblehead.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.